Hello and welcome to PACTV Community News, stories from Duxbury, Kingston, Plymouth and Pembroke. This week we'll take you to a groundbreaking in South Plymouth, a race club in Duxbury, and an exciting adult ed class in Kingston.
We visit with the Pilgrim Festival Chorus, who is celebrating their 20th anniversary this year, and we check out how some Duxbury Girl Scouts are ending cookie season.
We visit a graphic arts showcase at Plymouth South High School, and our government update gives us a preview to Plymouth's town meeting. Mike Guimares of Remax Spectrum is on set for our Home Matters segment, and we will begin tonight in South Plymouth. Beth Israel Deaconess Hospital Plymouth and Long Pond Physical Therapy will soon be a part of the Red Brook community, as ground was recently broken for a new building that will house both. PCN was there as the shovels hit the ground.
We're here at Red Brook today to break ground on a new commercial building at the center of the village in the village green. It's a 6,800 square foot building with two lead tenants, Beth Israel Deaconess Family Healthcare and Long Pond Physical Therapy. So it's a combination of agricultural barns that you would see throughout New England, plus with a seacoast touch to it, and you'll see kind of similar themes to what we've built so far. The combination of Red Brook, Whitaker, and Saltonstall with the BI and Long Pond really has a nice feel and will anchor the southern end of the green. So with the apartments coming online this year and the 300 families that will be living here in single-family homes and townhouses by the end of the year, we're trying to build a tenant base like you would have in any small New England village. So the family doctor and the local bank, the ATM, the local breakfast, lunch place with the farmer's table, the healthcare and the fitness facility community center with the YMCA are all part of building that sense of community here.
This is an expansion of the primary care network for our organization in Plymouth. There's a shortage of primary care physicians in this community. So we're always looking to expand out into the community rather than just locating everybody at the hospital. So this is just the beginning of our relationship with Red Brook. We'll continue to expand various medical services into this community as the demand requires that. We did it in the Pine Hills in a similar fashion. And it's really our commitment to the people in the community to bring care as close to them as we possibly can.
I mean, we've been looking forward to this for a long time. We've talked about expanding for the last couple years. We've got two locations now. The one in Pembroke that we opened up most recently is about 8 years old. And we were, getting the itch to maybe expand again and just expand our footprint in the area. I mean, we've been in the area for 15 years now. We've worked with the community now. We believe in continue to work with the community that we serve in. So we thought South Plymouth was a huge need for PT. There's not a lot down in this area. And with Red Brook expanding and the population growing in Plymouth, we thought it'd be a great opportunity for us to kind of reach out and touch base with Red Brook.
3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Yeah.
Plymouth South High School held their graphics arts photography exhibit Through the Lens this month, and the work that was submitted was outstanding. These young artists are on their way to the professional level, and PCN stopped in to show you some of the award-winning pieces and hear more about this program.
Purpose, so you all have the same goal.
This evening, the Technical Studies program, Design and Visual Communications, has put on one of their most exciting exhibitions. This is an evening that gives the students a chance to showcase their photography.
We had talked about a photography show because our students were producing beautiful work and winning many awards through Scholastics and the Congressional Art Award, so we thought it might be time for those students to have their own show.
Before diving more into the art featured in the art show itself, I wanted to learn more about the Design and Visual Communications course and what the benefit of having a program like this is to the students.
Well, first of all, I think it completes the professional understanding of people viewing the art that the students have made. That's the last step in creating photography, is actually showing photography, exhibiting it, learning how to exhibit it. It's a lot of technical nuances that they learn in the process. It also gets them speaking about their work to the community, those people who come in to see it. They hear the voices of young artists photographers, they understand their vision, and I think it makes a better connection for the community and what our young people are doing.
It really teaches you about the real world. So not only would you take like a drawing class, which teaches you kind of the same principles of design and stuff, but it really shows you how like the field works and the work that you do out in the field and just how to talk to clients, and it's just like a really like real world job.
We're very fortunate we have a technical program in graphics. It gets them prepared for work outside of school, and it also is wonderful to have for college-bound students if they're looking to go into the arts. It complements my art program as well. Our students are reaching out to schools they haven't really sought out before that are teaching some of the skills that we actually have here.
It has a lot of live work and a lot of hands-on work that actually really helped me discover what I liked about graphic design. You do a lot of different things. You do video, graphics, photography, so you get to learn 3 different totally types of different job and different like live work and stuff, but all in one class. I definitely learned a lot of how to interpret my own ideas through my photography and graphic design and try to make a difference in the world kind of with what I want to do. I'm really into the environment, so I'm hoping through like photography and graphic design and like the different ways that I learned to use my own voice through it, I can make a difference.
I then spoke to Heather more about what had initially sparked her interest in photography, and then asked her about the pieces that she had decided to enter in this year's art show.
The first thing that made me want to get in photography, I was always kind of creative as a kid, so everything kind of made me curious as like, and when I first came into high school, I saw when I was gone to the tech program, I would like tour it around the different techs and stuff, and when I came upon graphic design and I saw all the other seniors' photography and everyone else's work, kind of just sparked a curiosity in me, and when I ended up joining, it ended up becoming a passion of mine. I want to go more of an abstract route because last year I did a ballet photos and stuff with dance, and I just wanted to push myself further creatively to see what else I could create. So I took one of my best friends as a model, and I had her go into this stretchy material and kind of just morph her body in different ways and see what I could come up with visually and spatially for photography, and yeah.
Many of our students cross from graphics into the art department, so it's a pleasure to work collaboratively, and so I do my best to support Ms. Civic and her department, and the kids do a wonderful job.
Throughout my visit to Plymouth South High School, everybody I was able to speak to really echoed the same idea. It's the passion that the teachers in charge of the Design and Visual Communications program show towards art that allows the school to put on showcases such as these for the community.
Ms. Civic has done an excellent job, a lot of time, a lot of effort by the students to create this show. Her understanding is that it's a starter, and each year we learn more. I know I do when I do an art show here for my students. I know Ms. Civic has learned a lot as an instructor and how to instruct the kids to show their best work and see their connection with the community.
Nice to meet you.
Since 2016, the Mayflower Runners have helped athletes from the Plymouth area come together for group events, such as pub runs and Couch to 5K seminars. The goal of this group is to promote fitness, community, and support to people with active lifestyles at all different levels. PCN met up with the runners as they gathered at Duxbury Beach.
We are at Powder Point Bridge in Duxbury, and we are getting ready to run a 10-mile loop around Duxbury Village. The Mayflower Running Group is a group of individuals from a lot of different towns that have different levels of running paces and goals that they want to achieve, but they want to do it with like-minded people. Well, it started out as Plymouth Road Runners and morphed into the Mayflower Runners, and that's because of changes with just different leaders of the group or organizers. So it's been about 6 years in the making, and we're still growing. I think a lot of it is to boost each other up and to get out there. And like a day like today, I think everybody thought it was going to be miserable, and it might be. We don't know yet. We'll let you know after.
I love being in a running club. I've met so many great people through the running club. There's different types of events. We do trail runs, beach runs. There's an early bird run, which is downtown Plymouth. They meet, I think, at 5:30. And it's just a great way to meet people, to stay motivated. Everybody has different goals. We range from marathon runners, ultra runners, all different ages, abilities, and it's just a great way to meet people, be with different people. Miles go by a lot quicker when you're running with friends.
I like where are you on Instagram? Those things, it doesn't matter what size you are, what color you are, what gender you are. We hope to let everybody know that they're certainly welcome.
Yeah, I'm 36. Yeah, you are. You're the youngest one here.
Girl Scout cookie season is wrapping up, but some busy Scouts in Duxbury had one last job to fill. PCN will bring you this story.
Start to unpack and stack, okay?
Today we are here at the Girl Scout house in Duxbury, Massachusetts, to pack up cookies for the military. We have sold cookies, gotten donations of cookies. People have, troops have donated boxes and cases of cookies, and we will be packing them up. We have 11 soldiers we're going to send them to, along with cards and notes to tell them we wish them a safe journey home, and hope they'll be home quickly. My daughter and I started it many, many years ago, but we used to do it through the VFW in Plymouth. And then as far as this type of program where we pick individual military people that we send them to, we've probably been doing this for about 8 or 9 years now. I haven't counted them, but I'd say between 450 and 480 boxes of cookies. They're going all over the Middle East. We've got one fellow's in Iraq, or he's heading to Iraq. We've got people on ships. We've got one in Europe. We have one out in Japan, another in Korea. We have them all over. We absolutely have heard feedback. We had one fellow, he was an officer, and he actually, when he'd give out a box of cookies, because we send a lot of cookies to each individual, and we asked them to distribute them among the men in their unit, and he gave them each an envelope addressed to me, so when they got their cookies, they were supposed to write me a thank you note. Not all did, but many did. We've had patches sent to us, we've had medals sent to us. Sometimes they'll email me a picture of their whole group with their cookies. So we definitely get feedback, and I also get it from the relatives and friends who've just given us their names.
I like proving that we can make a change and showing people that selling cookies to the military will remind them of their childhood and their early lives, and maybe even selling cookies on their own.
I think it makes them aware that we've got these wonderful men and women giving of their time and energy to protect our country, who are far away from home. Some of them will not be back home for a year. And this is a little taste of home for them, hoping to put a smile on their face for a few minutes when they open their box and find all these wonderful, delicious cookies.
It makes me feel very proud and very worthy of myself, and knowing that I'm helping a very big movement. I think it collects enough money to make even a bigger change to the troops and help provide other chances for us to show the world that we can make changes.
And then we have to count the cards, so you know what, we can gather.
Each year, Silver Lake Regional High School offers adult ed courses in subjects like sushi making, chicken farming, and poetry. Classes are typically created by community interest and are usually taught by current or retired staff members of the Silver Lake Regional School District. We stopped by to see a Thursday woodworking class where students were working on multiple projects.
My name is Jim Kenny. I'm a woodworking instructor for adult education here at Silver Lake. And what we're doing here today is we've got students working in the shop, various projects. I've been teaching adult education here for 7 years. When I first started, it was building standard projects the whole class would build, but over time I realized that the students like doing their own thing. So the class is now advertised as a student-driven class where students bring in their own ideas, sketches, pictures of what they want to do, and basically I help them get to a finished product. A lot of times they come in with an idea, they don't even know what they want. So what I have them do is I go to a website and try to get a visual of what they want, and then I can help them kind of conceptualize that in terms of a sketch where we can figure out dimensions and what they exactly need for their space. And I help them develop a material list, and then when they bring the materials in, help them fabricate the parts they need to put their project together. I'd say probably the most challenging was a mantle that was supposed to go into a wall, a 45-degree angle.
2 years ago, when I wanted to build a mantle, I came up, I showed a picture, and the teacher, his eyes got big and he said, "This is just an 8-week course, and that's pretty ambitious." Well, being, such a good teacher, I don't think he had the heart to tell me it is very different. But I learned more than you can imagine.
It actually worked out really well. I ended up installing the mantle for her, and it came out great.
I learned that it's really not that difficult, but you do have to be able to handle the wood. You have to make sure you wear eyewear. You have to be careful of splinters. You certainly have to respect the machines. But honestly, if you put a puzzle together, or like with me, if you can make a pattern for a dress and you can work with fabric, it's different, but it's not that different. For me, every week it's always something to look forward to. It's just a whole new thing that I've never done before. You can see everybody has different interests, but it's so beneficial. It just enhances any skills that you have. It keeps your mind active.
They get exposure using all the different tools and equipment that we have in the shop that they wouldn't normally have on their own. I really work with them one-on-one, and I kind of try to get to know them a little bit to figure out what they're really trying to do, and really figure out what their end goal is as far as their project. And I think they appreciate that, and they like the one-on-one time. It's a little more challenging when you got 11 students building 11 different projects, but I really love the challenge of that, so it's something that it doesn't bother me.
Pilgrim Festival Chorus is celebrating its 20th anniversary this year. This nonprofit community chorus has performed hundreds of times around the South Shore. PCN stopped in to hear how the chorus has grown and to find out about their upcoming spring concert, Mozart's Requiem.
When we first started, it was really a fun group because it was 108 singers, and everyone came together to do some really interesting things. But most of the singers were church choir members, people from the community, and things like that. But over the years, what really has changed, the most significantly, is just simply the fact that now we attract voice teachers, music teachers, people with music degrees, people with years and years and years of choral experience. And that in itself has made it possible for us to do from our beginnings quite simple things to now doing Carmina Burana, the Lord Nelson Mass by Haydn, the Armed Man by Carl Jenkins, pieces of music that are very challenging. And that's the best part about this, is that it's grown not only in its size, but also in its breadth, but also in the fact that we can do far more challenging pieces of music.
I was in on the ground floor, and it's been an amazing journey these last 20 years. We've had such great musical opportunities. For people who love to sing choral music, it's been a fantastic experience. It's something I think that the Plymouth area really deserves. And I don't think that it ever could have come into being if it had not been for the fact that we had so many talented people and dedicated people who were willing to work very hard to make this happen.
I think it speaks volumes to the community that we're a part of, to our directors, and to the group as a whole, that it was able to be sustained for 20 years.
Singing has been part of the human existence ever since there were humans. I firmly believe that, and I really believe that singing together chorally is an experience that everyone should have. And to me, one of the most important things in programming for PFC has been to have a lot of variety. And I think that looking at what we've been able to do over the last 20 years, I think we've succeeded.
Well, the Mozart Requiem is probably the most popular piece of music in the choral repertoire.
Mozart Requiem is not for the faint of heart because it's a very difficult piece. If we had decided to do Mozart Requiem 10, even maybe 15 years ago, I don't think we could have done the same good job that we're going to be doing now. We have a very, very strong chorus vocally, and I think the performance is going to be amazing. And pairing it up with a very different contemporary work by Jerry Noble is going to be, it's going to make for a really good concert, I think.
We've had 22 new singers this season alone, and I think that speaks volume about the piece, about the directors that we have leading us in this piece, and the singers are just having an outpouring of love for the music, love for each other, and really love for the community. We're doing something great this year with our collaboration with the Scituate High School students, bringing it to a new part of the South Shore that maybe hasn't had the chance to see us in the past.
One of our performances will be by us alone on April 27th, and the other performance will be on April 28th at the Scituate Center for the Performing Arts, where I happen to serve as the house manager and also the choral director for the Scituate Public Schools. And so in that performance, we're not only going to have the Pilgrim Festival Chorus and orchestra, but also 60 members of my select choir at Scituate High School to make a chorus of 140 people. And so it's a multi-generational attempt to bring great classical music to the South Shore.
I think it's pretty amazing that 80-something people show up every Monday night, volunteer their time, volunteer their spirits, and lift each other up. It's not often that you hear choral music these days. I love hip hop as much as the rest of us, but to really have a group of people dedicated to making choral music alive on the South Shore is pretty amazing.
Our government update gives us a preview of Plymouth's town meeting.
With Plymouth experiencing a boom in construction as of late, some residents are unhappy with the accompanying noise, and Article 31 seeks to address the issue by limiting construction hours to between 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. A $300 per day non-compliance fine contained in the proposal would not apply to government agencies or private companies performing emergency construction. On the special town meeting warrant comes a provision for $400,000 in repairs to the Russell Pond Dam. This comes after a notification from the state of a July 31st deadline to fix the dam, after which Plymouth could be subject to a daily fine of $5,000 until the repairs are made. Another article seeks to keep Fire Chief Ed Bradley on board for another 2 years past the state-mandated retirement age of 65 for police and fire chiefs. The request comes from the town manager's office, who say that keeping Bradley as chief will help aid the transition as the town searches for a replacement. Article 9 concerns funding for the many maintenance issues facing the town, as well as new service vehicles for the water and waste departments, with existing vehicles ranging in age from 15 to 22 years. The article also provides funding for the ongoing dredging project at Plymouth Harbor, which aims to increase the water's depth so that larger vessels can be accommodated in preparation for the town's 400th anniversary. And even more maintenance funding is on the docket, $6 million overall to cover roads, bridges, sidewalks, and other town infrastructure. Whether these funds would come from taxes, available funds, or loans will also be determined at the meeting. And with solar energy becoming a popular choice for private residents and businesses alike, another article seeks to codify their rights to install solar panels on their property. The article also carries a provision for property owners to rent out part of their property to installers of solar equipment for the purpose of collecting energy. Plymouth's town meeting takes place April 6th at Plymouth North High School. For PACTV, I'm Keith Hughes.
I believe it's called Huntley Playground.
We are so pleased to welcome back to set Mike Guimares, who is the owner-broker of Remax Spectrum here in Plymouth and surrounding towns. Welcome to our set and for your section that we call Home Matters.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being back. We haven't had you since the late fall.
Yeah.
Last time you were here, actually, it was snowing, I think.
That's right.
And a lot has changed, and spring has sprung.
It is. It's here. Finally.
And finally. So right now, what is our state of the market here at the end of March?
I like to equate it to driving a car. We're back in drive.
We're back in drive.
The car is moving again. We had experienced at the end of the year things started to slow down, which is somewhat typical with holidays.
Yep.
But we had a lot of instability, so things were a little bit scary, a little shaky, but we've really rebounded well.
The rates had gone up.
They had.
Towards the end of the year, and that was very off-putting to a lot
Yeah, it
of people.
was. It affects affordability in such a drastic way.
Yep.
So when interest rates go up even 1%, it's a 10% affordability hit for a buyer. So
Right.
that did not help things
Exactly.
into the fall.
Exactly. So now, what do we have as far as inventory goes?
So inventory is as expected. Spring is here, and people use April 1st as kind of their target.
Yep.
Thinking about spring, we've started to see inventory creep on the market, and it's selling quickly.
Mhm.
It's things that are priced properly. But what's really helping is that the interest rates dipped back.
Right.
So
Even 1 point makes a massive difference, doesn't it?
absolutely.
Yeah.
And right now we're at our lowest point in over a year. So
For
if
interest
we,
rates.
Yeah, if we think back to 2018 spring market and how strong that was,
Yes.
our rates are at that point or a little bit below that.
Which is great.
It is. And with our pricing, which had stabilized at the end of 2018,
Yep.
it's kind of creating a perfect storm where buyers have good pricing and good rates, so the affordability is up and they're ready to jump back in again.
Right. Now, I know we had a real problem with inventory
We did.
last year. What are the factors that have changed that so much?
I think what's happened is folks have always been waited for the spring. So in the fall, we were hearing lots of murmurs about people getting ready and they were putting it off until springtime.
Right.
We've seen that jump happen now.
Mhm.
And what we're seeing now for coming soon listings
Yeah.
is the next 3 weeks, it looks to be a point where we're going to just tip over the edge and homes are going to hit the market at a much faster pace. Our firm has seen a 50% increase in properties under contract, which means the homes are hitting, but they're still not staying on the market a long time.
I was just going to ask you that. What is the average length of time?
Yeah, so typically in a real stable, balanced market, you like to see anywhere between 3 and 4 months. Right now, homes that are priced properly are gone in 30 days.
Wow. That's great. Soup to nuts.
Absolutely.
Oh,
yeah.
that's excellent.
Good signs,
Yeah.
stable market, good
Yep.
pricing, good rates, affordability
Yep.
is there, so things are moving.
Now, who are the major buyers right now? Are they first-time home buyers? Are they people that are downsizing? What are they?
Yeah, it's a great
What are they?
question. Those are the two main mixes of buyers we're seeing. First-time home buyers are definitely jumping in the market.
Yep.
Years and years of moving back with family, saving money
Yep.
has paid off. Now they can afford much larger homes, better value. And we are starting to finally see a tip in folks that are downsizing. It has been a baby boomer thing where we think they're going to finally start to move. It's happening now.
Where are they
wanna
going?
downsize.
Where are people going that
That's
are
the
downsizing?
struggle. The last few years, we had very little new construction. Even though it seemed like homes were popping up,
Yeah.
the years past, we had much higher rates of new construction, so that's dipped back.
Yep.
And so the problem we have now is not enough 55 plus has been started in the last 6 years. It kind of stopped when
Yes,
the market
right.
shifted. And so they're struggling to find those properties. So what we're seeing is kind of a flip. First-time home buyers from 5 or 6 years ago that may have bought the smaller homes and that price point are moving up, and the folks that are downsizing are trying to purchase their homes.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, so it's
Gonna
that,
do
it's
a
that good shift that
a
you like to see.
switcheroo. So what are important points for buyers?
The most important thing I can say is have their pre-approval ready and understand the entire finational picture.
Yeah, and you've always said that, right?
Yeah,
You go
knowing
in,
your budget.
Go in knowing exactly what you can afford.
Absolutely.
And that you can make an offer.
Exactly. Knowing, a lot of folks look at price point, they've got their pre-approval, they know what
Yeah.
they can buy,
Yeah.
but they don't look a little deeper at what it's going to cost to keep that house maintained and
Yep.
moving with the utilities and things like
Right.
that. And then I would say also keeping that pre-approval fresh. The number of mortgage programs that are coming out on a monthly basis continues to grow.
Yeah.
So there are programs that are reducing deposit amounts.
Yes.
Maybe helping with lower interest rates if they want to buy that down. So having a good conversation with their lender and understanding the packages that are available to them
Yep.
is going to be a huge factor in their offers and making their offer attractive to a seller.
Okay. Is there any difference between getting a pre-approval from a bank or like an app on the phone, like I know, like Rocket? I've just seen ads for that.
Yep.
So you can get pre-approved in a day.
Yeah.
Will you, as a realtor, say one is better than the other?
Yeah, no, I think all the processes work. Rocket Mortgage and some of those other ones, not to give them a plug, but
no,
they go through the process of getting your financial information as you should. A true pre-approval requires a full look at your tax returns, your income, your credit.
Right.
And so it doesn't take more than a day to do that. The question is whether or not you want to deal with someone local that you can have a conversation with quickly, or an online or 800 number that you're talking to someone in another state. And that's completely up to you. It's different for everybody. But I think
But they're both legitimate.
They're both legit, yeah, definitely.
Okay. What are the buyers looking for these days?
But yeah, buyers,
what do they want when they walk in?
They're more armed with information today than they've ever been. The internet obviously is very powerful, and folks can look at a property and determine what that property has done over the past 15 years for additions and remodels. They can see that history. So they're looking for value. They're looking for a property that has good location for their commute, for their family lifestyle, their needs. They're willing to balance and drive maybe a little bit more if they think they can have more privacy, more space, a nicer yard. So they're looking for that value. And then also condition has become even more important today, because a lot of the younger buyers that are coming in don't really want to deal with doing work on the home.
Right.
They have a different lifestyle where they're enjoying the weekends and they're going out and whatnot. So they're looking for homes that have been maintained well and are in good condition, and there's nothing that's urgent that needs to be done.
Right.
More things that can be done over time based on their taste. So that's what they're looking for, those turnkey properties.
And that's why you've always said that when you stage your house, how important it is to make it almost vanilla.
Absolutely.
So that when people walk in, they can imagine how they would decorate or they would paint or what they would do.
Absolutely.
To
And
each room.
that challenge for sellers is even greater today. Everyone thinks about staging their home, and sometimes it's just a matter of decluttering.
Right.
You know, and so we all collect things over time.
Yep.
It just is what life is like. So sometimes it's just removing all that information, all that personal stuff.
Yep.
Moving some furniture out. Don't have too much furniture in a room. Makes it look bigger if you weed it out.
Yep.
And I think those steps for sellers are important to prepare.
I always notice too in kitchens, people that load their counters with stuff, it makes the kitchen look so much smaller.
Absolutely.
And it just, I always say, make it a blank canvas so that people can imagine, oh, this is how I decorate it.
It's funny, when we go into a home to do professional photography for a seller, they'll leave and the photographer will come in and we'll have counters that have toaster oven, blender.
They got everything.
So when they see the photos online, they're like, wow, that's not really our home. Where'd all our stuff go? It's like we have to remove that for the photos because people want to envision that space is open.
Right. What should sellers expect for a sales timeline? Sellers, this is.
Sellers, yeah.
Yes.
So things have shifted a little bit. If priced properly, you'll know in the first 2 weeks if your home is highly marketable and desirable.
Yep.
It's really not, there's not magic to it. Buyers are on the sidelines, they're ready to jump in. If they see a home and it's priced right, the bidding wars are still there.
So that's still going on?
It is, absolutely. And I think price strategy for sellers is not always trying to list at the top of that range that you may have been told.
Yep.
It's maybe being a little more strategic and having a price that's going to attract more viewers, more buyers.
And then they're going to punch it out.
And they're going to move it up. They will, because once you're competing with homes in your market that are within $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, if you're starting at the lower point, they're willing to go up.
Oh, sure.
If they love the home.
Sure.
So the timeline is, you'll know in the first 2 to 3 weeks how you stand, and generally within 45 days you'll be under agreement if you're priced properly.
Yeah. So there's a lot of psychology to this too.
There's probably more psychology than people realize, because a lot of times you look at, my neighbor sold their home and this is the price.
Yeah.
But it's really at the time you put your home on the market, what are you competing against?
Right. Right.
And what are the features of that home, and how can you prep your home to
Right. And
compete?
no two homes are alike.
They aren't.
Right. Everything, and everybody's got a different history. Everybody's got a different location, and even the way you sit on a lot. Some people don't want a driveway that goes up, don't want a driveway that goes down.
Absolutely.
You
we start to worry about, like in that example, winters, and steep driveways have ice issues. So there's, definitely things to consider, features of your home that may not have been an issue for you,
right?
But someone else looking at it is going to have concerns.
That's right.
And I would say the other thing they can really do to help their timeline is the simple things. Splash of paint.
Yeah.
Making sure all the light bulbs work, changing some fixtures.
Yep.
Simple, inexpensive upgrades that will help you shine a little bit better.
And the mold, get the mold.
Get the mold
a
out.
little green mold off the side of your house.
Absolutely. Good pressure wash.
Off the roof, clean the roof.
Definitely.
Yeah, because curb appeal is huge too, right?
That first
That's
drive
your first
up.
impression?
Yeah, we have plenty of buyers that are out on their own looking,
Yes.
driving through neighborhoods,
Yes.
and they're crossing off properties that they just don't have interest in looking at because of what they see from the outside.
Yep.
And if they get a feeling that you're not maintaining the outside because something doesn't look right,
Yep.
they automatically have that assumption on the inside,
That's
and they're
right.
just going to knock that house right off the list.
That's right.
And you don't want that.
No, you don't. You did tell me one thing that just amazed me when I said, what is the biggest deciding factor of the town that someone lives in? And I always thought it was the school system or you know, the government or the utilities, and it's commute.
It is. People are definitely being a lot more strategic in where they live because they want to balance how long it takes to get to work or where their family is in proximity. They want someone that's close, maybe they have daycare issues. So they're much more aware of that as opposed to some of the other features that people predominantly think of, which are still important. School systems are important, safety is important, but they start with location and they try to backtrack from there.
And it's location, location, location.
Always.
That's the old, right?
Is.
That's been said for 100 years. It's
Absolutely.
the location of your home.
And it's different for each person.
Yep.
You know, and so some folks don't mind a little extra ride, or they don't mind sitting back in the woods, or they don't mind being on a main road, and others feel the opposite. So it really just depends on each buyer's situation, how they grew up, what they're used to.
And so the value really of having a realtor, whether it's Remax or anybody else, is to be able to have these conversations, to really find out what's really best for that particular buyer or seller, and work with them.
Absolutely.
Personally.
I think it's important when sellers hire a professional, they understand they're coming in to give them their viewpoint from the outside perspective.
That's right.
We live in our home, we're proud of our home,
Yep.
and sometimes we take offense to when someone points something out, but you really can't.
Right.
It's really, their job is to help you sell for the maximum value in the minimum amount of time, and sometimes you just need to point things out to you that someone else might have concerns over so you can prepare your marketing.
Perfect. Thank you, sir.
It's great to be here.
Great info once
Thank you.
again.
Thanks for
we'll
having
have
me.
you back.
Absolutely.
And thank you for watching. For more information and links to stories, check out PCN at our PACTV website. PCN is also on Facebook and Twitter, and be sure to follow us there. All stories are on our YouTube channel, so be sure to subscribe. We're back April 11th for more local stories. Have a great week.